Timeskip Sarada's new look has made everyone curious about her timeskip powers. While her new design has been inspired from Boruto, what if he also influenced her abilities? The sun and moon duality could play a huge role in her character, so is she going to illuminate the shinobi world with her ocular power? Let's find out. When it comes to the new power-up of Sarada, her Mangenkyo ability is the long-awaited application. People are really eager to witness her Susanoo and some never-before-seen unique abilities. In order to figure out the trigger to her superpower, we will need to understand how the unique eye of Uchiha's actually works. It is believed that it reflects the desire of a person's heart, and the power possessed by an Uchiha is the outcome of the same. For example, Itachi's Mangenkyo Sharingan granted him the ability to use Amaterasu, which represented his feelings of hatred and desire for vengeance. Sasuke, on the other hand, also developed the Amaterasu as well as Susanoo, reflecting his desire for power and his pursuit of revenge. This means the power of Sarada's Mangenkyo is also gonna be a manifestation of her emotions and desires. Her greatest desire as of now is to protect Boruto. Even her outfit and haircut symbolizes her lover. So which ability is most likely gonna help Sarada in avenging the injustice that happened to Boruto? Let's first talk about her Susanoo and how it's supposed to awaken. What if just because Sarada wasn't born with the curse of hatred, she would unlock an ability called Kushina Dahime instead of the Susanoo? In Japanese mythology, Kushina Dahime is the goddess and is counted among the wives of Susanoo. If Kishimoto decides to replace Sarada's Susanoo with a more impactful ability, then it would most likely be named the same. As for how this form would work, it could grant Sarada beast mode similar to the KCM, which would be a manifestation of her inner desires. Sarada is a character who did not bear the curse of hatred, but the shocking omnipotence incident made her develop such feelings. The reason I believe Sarada should replace the Susanoo with another form is because of the build-up of an Uchiha member, which leads to the awakening of such power. The Susanoo gets awakened as a result of all the harsh events that an Uchiha faces in his life. The person using this power feels pain in every cell of his body, which is yet another time an embodiment of the toll that intense emotions like hatred can take on an individual. Sarada's will of becoming the Hokage and illuminating the world with the reality of Kawaki should awaken a completely different power, only because no Uchiha has been in the same shoes as her, and since the Mangenkyo's powers are dependent on the circumstances, the possibility of something brand new is absolutely there. Think about it this way. If her uncle or father had witnessed her reality warping power ruin their mental health, they would have unlocked a completely different set of abilities. We will also be getting into a new power of Sarada, which could involve the manipulation of time, but before that, let's understand why it's practically possible for Sarada to unlock the Kushina Dahime, the female counterpart of Susanoo, alongside the time-related ability. As we know, all the ninjutsus and ocular powers used by shinobis originate from the shinjutsus used by the Osutsukis. This means the breakdown of shinjutsu into ninjutsu or genjutsu is only a fraction of what the original shinjutsu could do. This means these powers could vary from person to person according to the way they trained or the trauma they faced. When a celestial being reaches godhood, they seem to unlock a large number of shinjutsus which could do a variety of things. Sarada, witnessing something that no one in the history of shinobis has seen, could automatically shape her power accordingly. This could possibly mean that the breakdown of a shinjutsu can lead to countless ninjutsus that might differ a bit from each other, but their core mechanism remains the same. For example, in case of the Uchiha clan, even though their abilities were different from each other, but all of them were manifested from the Mangenkyo. Same is the case of Susanoo, which is the embodiment of all the hatred and negative emotions suffered by an Uchiha. The thing which differentiates Sarada from all the members of her clan is her selfless nature and love for Boruto. While all her ancestors have either lost someone or suffered hard times, her case is one of its kind when it comes to circumstances. So can Boruto's influence on her life and shape her powers and abilities for the better? Well, I think the answer is yes, and here is how. The time factor has played a huge role in the dark legacy of Boruto. Momoshiki gave him the karma after stopping time. He was revived by the monster with the stoppage of time. The omnipotence rewrote his entire identity and history, which proved to be really devastating, and it has been prophesied that when the right time comes, his right eye would enlighten the world from darkness. The reason I believe Sarada's power is also time related is because of the shape of her Mangenkyo being too similar to a clock. The dial on her Mangenkyo could shift clockwise or anti-clockwise according to the power she's using. One of the most efficient powers that she could use is the ability of peeking into the past of an individual. In this way, she would be able to know the history of her ancestors alongside some flaws in the plans of Kawaki. She could even have a foresight power similar to the one used by Boruto, but she must be able to use it at will. The time stoppage ability could also come handy to Sarada, but I feel like it's only limited to Momoshiki. Sarada's experience with Aida's ability changing people's memories could also have some impact on her Mangekyo power. She could get the power that would be able to see the truth of the situation. This would result in an ability that automatically analyzes the world around her, finding the weak points of her enemies and seeing how certain abilities work. Like if she was fighting Kawaki, her ability would passively analyze him and predict the trajectory of his roars. I will call this power the Yosuko of Uchiha Sarada, cause that's the Japanese translation of prediction. It would even give her an advantage against the top tier enemies like the Osutsukis, as she would be able to predict their next moves effortlessly. She could even prove to be a huge asset to Boruto, who would be fighting really powerful foes, and with the coordination of Sarada, he will have an easy win against most of them. As for the Sun-Moon duality in the show, while 4 characters are associated with the moon, Sarada and Kawaki having connections to the sun reveals a lot about their character. While Kawaki wants to bring a revolution while making everyone dwell in his false reality, Sarada wants to illuminate the world with truth and bring justice to Boruto. The dojutsu of Kawaki represents the sun absorbing light from its surroundings, which means he wants to take away all the facts from the world. Sarada being on the same medium as him having completely different motives could help us to understand her character a lot better. She would most likely become a leader or could even lead a group of Boruto supporters. Moreover, her sun-shaped eyes could even be a reference to the sun goddess Amaterasu. Look at this picture which depicts the Japanese deities Susanoo, Amaterasu and Tsukuyomi. They seem to resemble Boruto, Sarada and Mitsuki, which means there could be some solid connections between them. The way Kishimoto uses the names of Japanese mythological creatures in his work is pretty interesting. Like Kamui, for example, is a space-time ninjutsu that can be used to send anything to another dimension. While in Ainu mythology, Kamui is a supernatural entity who possesses a lot of spiritual energy. This means if a power is named after a mythological being, it's not necessary for the ability to share characteristics with that creature. If that was the case, then Kamui should have been an ability that uses spiritual power against its opponents. The concept of transportation does not exist in the folklore. However, things can be a bit different if a character is based off a deity. We know that the Amaterasu technique has no correlation to the sun goddess of the same name. But if Sarada's character has been inspired from her, then here's what lies in her future. Amaterasu in the Japanese mythology is known to have the highest position among the Shinto deities. Her high stature even made some scholars believe that the early rulers in Japan were mostly female. Implying this detail in Sarada's case, it's pretty much clear that she's going to reach her goal of becoming the Hokage by the end of the show. A ruler who will be widely renowned for her contribution to the shinobi world, leaving behind a legacy that will be remembered for decades. However, this honor of being such a renowned shinobi won't come without hardships. Sarada will not only have to take down Kawaki, but also prove the innocence of Boruto to the whole world. But is that actually possible at this stage? Can Sarada and Boruto rewind the effects of omnipotence by themselves? Find out the answer in these videos and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stuff. I will see you next time.